What is the thing that we observe when we observe the mind? We observe feelings, perceptions, intentions, consciousness. What are feelings? Feelings are pleasant, unpleasant, neither pleasant nor unpleasant. There is no fire or water or hardness in pleasant feeling. It's mind. It's totally mind. Like if a person is dead, regardless how much hardness they have, there's no pleasant or unpleasant feeling. You see? What makes the difference between this body, I mean, with life, and another body that is dead? You know, the body is same. You know, if you take it, you hopefully understand, the body is still the same. In this example, the body physically is exactly the same in both cases, except that in this case, there's life. In the other one, it's dead. So what's the difference? It's a different thing. The different thing is the mind, not hardness, not heaviness, not cohesion, not motion. The four things are the same in the living body, in the dead body. Okay, so it's a more complicated, but we will keep it simple now. Okay, because when it's complicated, this is a disaster. So we keep it simple. Now, if we observe feelings, then which we could call sensations, well, then that means you cannot observe hardness, cohesion, temperature, motion. That means you cannot observe pressure, you cannot observe numbness, you cannot observe the tingling, you cannot observe heat, you cannot observe cold, all of which are actually fine in Goenka's method. While you also can observe pleasant, unpleasant, neither pleasant nor unpleasant feeling. You see, it's mixed up. And the yogis
I'm
don't know
actually
that it's
getting
mixed.
confused.
It's just confused, you see. Mind, body, confused. And the Buddha never taught it like this, that you're like confusing them. You're observing the body separately, mind separately. And when I ask meditators, of Ugoenka, because many of my students are either from Ugoenka or they are my friends, meditators. They don't follow my retreats, but we are good friends because we meditated in the same meditation center and so on and on. They don't know this. They have no idea, no clue. And that's a problem. Yes. Now, as for me, a Buddhist monk, I have to teach exactly according to what's in the scriptures. I will never afford, and it's a very good idea that I will not do that, to teach something that's not in the scriptures. You need to be very careful. So I'm not teaching you this mix up of body and mind and so on and on. I'm teaching you very specifically the body. That is, in this case, it's a heaviness, hardness. We take them as synonymous. So you are here observing, when you observe the muscles, you're actually observing the hardness or heaviness of the muscles. So you're specifically concentrated on the materiality, not at all on feelings. You even are not supposed to feel them. You remember? I said, we don't try to feel them. There's a reason for that. We don't try
I
to.
missed out.
You missed it. Okay. So as you meditate on muscles, we do not try to feel them. You will probably feel them anyway, and it's an advantage, but it's not what we want. We want acceptance. We accept the fact that there is some hardness or heaviness and change in those muscles. That's all what we want. If you feel it, it helps you to be really with the muscle, so you know where you really are, what's going on, but you don't need it. Many meditators are not able to feel their muscles at all, and they're very successful in this practice. I mean, very, very successful. I get that from their reports. They get extraordinary peace, extraordinary wisdom, extraordinary concentration, and so on. You don't have to feel them at all. Again, the feeling is an advantage, no need. No need. So as you see, in Goenka method is the totally opposite. In Goenka method, you must feel. Well, because that's your meditation object. There's no problem with that. It's okay. It's just a different method. We have them all in our scriptures. We have their feelings, we have their matter. Okay. It's just my concern is that in his case, he understands as okay also feelings that are not really feelings. That means like feeling of pressure, feeling of heat, cold is not feelings. But apart from this detail or not, that could be a topic for heated discussion. But Apart from this problem, what he teaches is meditation on the mind and specifically on feelings, and that's perfectly fine. Now here you're starting with meditation on the body. You will also get to meditate on the mind in the last few days, and during the 30 days retreat you get to meditate on the mind very deeply, and there's also a portion where you meditate on feelings, but of course you meditate there only on pleasant, unpleasant, neither pleasant nor unpleasant feeling. At that time you will have pretty well mastered meditation on the body, so you'll be very clear about what's the distinction between the matter and the mind. Okay, any more question?
Actually, like just trying to register what you just said, and were not like having other questions. Like this was too much for me at once. Like,
Right. So I will give you the instruction for the next practice. It will be a little bit complicated, so you may like to write down notes. I'm pretty sure that from, I think most of you, well, for quite a few of you, it will be very new and very confusing as well. So make sure that you understand and write down everything I say. Every word matters. Okay, when I give instruction, wow, every word matters. From now on, you can meditate only 30 or 60 minutes per session. Cannot do 20 or 40 or 45, no. You can meditate only 30 or 60 minutes per session. The reason is that you will need to divide each and every session into 6 smaller pieces, and they need to be equally long. So if it is 30 minutes, each piece will be 5 minutes long. If it is 60 minutes, each piece will be 10 minutes long. The first portion of these 6 pieces will be dedicated to yourself. In this first piece, you do 1 cycle of muscles, and then you move on to observing your piece, to exploring your piece. You meditate 30 minutes. This should take exactly 5 minutes, not 6, not 4. If you meditate 60 minutes, this should take exactly 10 minutes. Now, how are you going to know 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes? Well, because you have the clock and because you have opened eyes. We do not look at the clock like all of the time, but we can focus our sight to the clock. So, for example, let's say that I have a clock like this, and I will put the clock somewhere here. I can put it on the other side, that doesn't matter. And I focus here. I do not really focus, but my eyesight is placed here. So I see the floor right in front of me. And if I want to know what's the time, I will just change the angle to see the clock and then go back. I can do this as many times as I want during meditation. Because we meditate with open eyes, the change in the angle should be very subtle. It should not disturb your practice. If it disturbs your practice, something is probably not correct. But, and I will get to that later, there is one special case when you do not do that, when you do not focus and check the time. We will get to that very soon. So now the first portion is dedicated to you, and the remaining 5 portions are dedicated to 5 selected people. And you will be now selecting people, so apply maximum of your brain power, because we don't want to stay here too long. You will be searching 5 people that you know and that you appreciate. They must be of the same sex as you are. If you're a woman, there will be 5 women. If you're a man, there will be 5 men. They can be any age you want, no problem, but you need to appreciate them and they need to be alive. For example, it could be, for a lady, could be mom, grandma, friend lady, neighbor lady, classmate lady. You need to add the word lady if you want to use like neighbor, friend, which is not clear. Like with grandma, you don't need to use the word lady. I need to make sure that they're ladies. I want to be 100% sure about that. If they're men, for example, could be dad, brother, nephew, brother-in-law, neighbor, gentleman, man, if you use man, whatever you want. But I need to, see from your list that it's man or woman. It needs to be very clear. And I want to know it right now. So please write it in the chat box, and that's what I'm now waiting for. I need to have that list from all of you right now. You can say, if you worry that somebody would find out who's that and you don't want that to happen, you can send it to me privately. Okay, no problem. Yes, I see from Nui Yanalai. This is not exactly it, but it's very close. So you'd write mom, two aunties, one sister, and one friend lady or girlfriend. I'm fine with that word. So this was a good example. Oh, I'm sorry. No names. No names. So I would like to ask Sati to avoid all names and just write the relationships. Yes, what can I do for you? Hello, hello. Oh, no juice. This water is free. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, you can take it away. Now, come, come, come cả.
Vâng, dạ. Mía, nước mía.
Nước mía.
Sugar.
Please, no problem.
Yeah.
Come one days.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, Tara.
Remember, sir, how many people do I have to mention of the same sex?
5.
5? Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Now for Sati, I need to know whether the friends are ladies, and if you have more than if you have friends, for friends specifically, I need to know a little bit more about them. For example, friend in Dhamma, friend from job, friend I saw on the bus. So I need to know that. For Hema also, can you please let me know a little bit more about the friend? Is it a lady or man? And where did you meet the first? Or what's the domain where you know the friend from?
My friend is my Dhamma friend.
Yes. So please correct that. And I'm still waiting for Asoka's list. Okay, got it. Perfect, perfect. And the friend is a man, right, Asoka?
Yeah, friend is my school friend, my college.
Is a man. Yes, no, I just need to make sure. Okay, friend lady, quickly, perfect. Friend Amma from job. Best friend, yes, that's fine. I think I see 4 people there, Sati. Am I counting right? Friend in Dhamma, a friend from job, best friend, a neighbor.
And above, I
Okay.
have mentioned mom and mom-in-law.
Oh, mom. Okay. You can put it as an answer to that comment. You know how to do that?
You know,
You can like comment to that comment. Yes. But wait, then now it sounds like 6 people, right? So you have friend in Dhamma, a friend from job, best friend, neighbor, and mom-in-law. It's like 6.
no,
So
that's the
mom,
same person. Like we first met in job, and now she's my best friend. So
I see. Okay,
she's
yeah,
the same person.
perfect. Thank you very much. Mom, and 3 on. Yes, that's fine. So now you need to remember very well. If you want, you can write it down. Which 5 people did you choose, and their order as well. You cannot make the 3rd person a 2nd person or the 4th person. No, don't change the order. Don't change the people. You need to be very, very strict. That the way how you have decided, that's the way you have it. If you want to make a change, let me know, and you need to wait for my answer. Okay. unfortunately, you will probably not get an answer, so there's no way to change. So now you have your last, during this meeting, your last opportunity to ask me for permission to change. Okay, so you have 10 minutes for yourself. I will talk about 60 minutes. If you meditate 30, you need to count it up for yourself for the 5 minutes. You have 10 minutes for yourself. I will do like this: 10 minutes for yourself, and then the 5 minutes for each other. Okay, or how to do that this way. What will you do with these 5? So when you finish your 10 minutes, which is pretty easy because that's what you did now, 6 hours. When you come up to the second 10 minutes, you take the first person of the 5. Let's say it's mom. And you will recite, you need to use the words. Very strict. Now you need to use the words. Later you can remove them, but now please use the words. And you need to use the sentence, may mom be in peace. You don't use the word my. It's not needed. We know that you have to, I expect you have just 1. I know that Sati has 2, but we all know what's going on. So, may mom be in peace. And you repeat that again and again and again and again and again and again and again until the 10 minutes is gone for that person. Then you take another person, let's say sister, and you say, may sister be in peace. If you have aunties, you can use their name. Okay. So, for example, may Teresa be in peace. And you repeat that again and again and again and again. Okay, for those 10 minutes. If it is just 1, let's say it's 1 mom or 1 sister or 1 cousin, then you probably do not need to use the name. I will leave it up to you. It doesn't really change anything about this. Okay. But you try to keep it concise. This way you meditate 10 minutes for each of them. What you do is you do not force them to be in peace. You do not expect them to be in peace. The peace you already have, you allow them to have at least as much as you have now. That's all. It's just permission. Whether they are in peace or not, you probably can't do much about that, but you can permit them that they have as much peace as you do. Three things should not be done. 3 things. 1, do not imagine their face. If it comes up itself, it's okay, but it's not what it's like you meditate on the person, you see their face, then it is as important for your practice as if you heard a bird singing from outside. Totally irrelevant to the practice. Okay? We don't want to imagine their face. We don't want to think about our experiences with them. And we don't want to think about their good qualities. No. We only allow their body and mind, their arising, passing body and mind, to be influenced by peace. We allow them to arise and pass in such a way that the person will experience peace. Now you could say, no, well, wait, if I cannot imagine their face, think about their experiences with them or their qualities, then how am I going to distinguish them from others? By the name. It's the word, auntie or mom or sister or whatever, Teresa or Eve or whatever you call them. That is what distinguishes them from others. Think of a nice market, these outside big markets, when you go there and they sell a lot of fruit, sometimes they have like apples in a beautiful large pile. Now let's take for our example this special case where all of the apples are exactly the same. A huge pile of apples, all of them are exactly the same. Now let's say that you come up to that pile and you will take 1 apple from that pile. The apple is exactly the same as all the other apples. But at the same time, it is so different. It is different by the fact that you took it in your hand. So that is what differentiates the person from all others. The fact that you are now interested, or you are now, the fact that the person is now your object, to tell it very non-humanly, but I think you understand what I mean. So now that person is the object of your loving kindness. And that's what makes them so different from all the 9 billion people. Nothing else. And the name. And that's the name actually that takes the person from the pool of all the people in the world. Okay, so these three things need to be very much avoided. Now there are two things. Okay, one is a problem, one is how to say that? One is a problem, one is an advantage. So they have basically the same character, but you will see. So one is a problem. So what is a problem? Let's say you meditate. You decide, okay, so I will meditate now. From now on, for 60 minutes, I will meditate on loving kindness without any movement. That will be your determination. From now on, for 60 minutes, I will meditate on loving kindness without any movement. You decide that 3 times. You start 10 minutes with yourself, 1 cycle of muscles, watching Exploring Peace. You check the clock, you see, 10 minutes is gone. You get to your mom. Now you meditate 3 minutes on your mom. May my mom be in peace, or may mom be in peace. May mom be in peace. And then you fall asleep. You fall asleep, you wake up, you look at the clock, you see 43 minutes of meditation is gone. Now what will you do? So you still have 17 minutes remaining for the practice and 4 people to work with. So you equally distribute that time to those 4 people. Each of them will get 4 minutes. And your meditation will therefore take 59 minutes. And that we count as 60 minutes. So you need to note it as 60 minutes. Please do not count these 59 or 61. No, that's such a mess. So now you know how I understand it. So it's not a lie, it's not a deception. You see, we have some agreement. No worries about that. Okay, you do 59, I understand it as 60. You do 61, I understand it as 60. You can, in some cases, for example, if you had 3 people missing and 17 minutes remaining, well, then you extend it, and you actually extend it so that each of them gets 6 minutes, and you meditate 61 minutes. Okay. All right. So that is the problem. Another mode of the problem could be if you think, for example, you will have their sister. Let's say you do 10 minutes for yourself, muscles and peace. Then you do 10 minutes for mom, and then you do 5 minutes for sister. And oh, my sister, 20 years ago we did this and we did that, and so on and so on, and you forget yourself in the thinking. You look at the clock and you see, 20 minutes is gone. So you lost that mindfulness on the 25th minute. Another 20 minutes is gone. Okay, so 45 minutes is gone. You still have 3 people to work with. You count up the remaining 15 minutes to the 3 people. Each of them gets 5 minutes. So this is the problem. Now the advantage. Advantage means simply extraordinary experience. Let's say that you meditate, 10 minutes, muscles, peace, all's good. Mom, 10 minutes, no problem. Then sister, 2 minutes. And then suddenly something very, very special will happen. Extraordinary peace, extraordinary something is going on your skin, something you see or feel or experience, something very, very amazing and pleasant. It must be pleasant, okay? If it is unpleasant, no, then it doesn't count. It must be extraordinary, amazing, magnificent feeling, experience, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to give you examples because your mind may make them up, so I'll happily listen to what you tell me tomorrow. And in that case, even if you know these 10 minutes for my sister is finished, do not look at the clock. We want to know what will happen with this experience. Will it increase or decrease or change or become more intensive, become unpleasant, or what will this experience do? We want to find out. And we want to give it really free hand. And when this experience finishes or becomes uninteresting, one of the two things, either it becomes uninteresting or it entirely disappears. And we take it the same thing. So if it becomes uninteresting or it entirely disappears, you look at the clock and let's say you see, oh, I'm missing 10 minutes for the remaining 3 people. Okay. So you give each person 3 minutes. Your meditation will take 59 minutes and it's good. So that's for the basics, all for this instruction. Do you have any questions, anything you'd like to say?
I have a question, but not from the practice, but from
Yes,
the
please.
previous one that happened. So what exactly is the thing that you said, we are looking at? We are looking at the peace that is generated while we are meditating. Suddenly it just crops up and you're satisfied with that situation. Is it right?
So when you meditate on peace alone, you explore more information about the peace. And I already gave you some hints, like could be coming from the body, could be coming from the mind, could be coming from the brain, from the heart. Maybe it comes from your nail on your big toe. Who knows? Explore, check. And there's so many things you can explore about peace. Is it continuous? Is it always exactly the same? Or is it more intensive, less intensive, intensive for a long time, little bit not intensive for a moment, and then again intensive? What's going on? Is there any object like disturbing this peace? Is there, like, for example, sound or something you see that disturbs the peace? Or maybe some thought? What's going on with that peace? Is the peace rather coarse or is it subtle? Is it superficial or is it deep? Does the depth of the peace change? And yes, and that's pretty good. If you can ask these questions, that's pretty good. Rather than, however, asking questions, I would like to see if you can like explore that piece, see what more you can learn about the piece. And the point again is here that you remember that experience, not that you understand it or you answer any of those questions. No, even if you answer 0 of those questions, it's totally fine.
So basically, we don't stop after receiving the peace and staying in the peace. We start observing and figuring out the peace and the questions that you said, observing how it is changing.
How it's changing, or how it's the same, or where it's coming from, how it's conditioned, what does it condition, and so on.
Okay.
And you start that right from the tips of the toes if you experience peace there.
Okay.
Yes, and again, you of course do not observe peace in the tips of the toes. You observe it all everywhere. Anyway, you need to understand it completely. Yes, Tara.
Venerable sir, I'm a little lost. So I understand the first 10 minutes where you start from the muscles and then you observe the piece. And then after that, what do I do with the 5 other people? As in, do I just wish them to be at peace? I think I misunderstood about the
Yes.
remaining 50 minutes among the 5 people.
So when you meditate the first 10 minutes, you only observe your present peace. When you move on to the first person, what you do is, in addition to understanding your own peace, you add there this permission. Okay, she can have it too. And this hopefully comes automatically as you recite that sentence, may mom be in peace, or may sister be in peace, and so on. So this attitude that they may have it should be there included in that sentence. So you do not need to worry about it. Is it clear?
Yes, you also mentioned about focusing on problems and advantages. Is that about this 5 people as well?
No, these were headings of what I was explaining. So I was explaining that in meditation can happen a problem. That means you fall into thinking for 30 minutes. And then when you find out the clock, then you will have to count up the remaining time for the remaining people. So that's a kind of problem that may happen in meditation. You don't focus on any problems with the people, not at all. Advantage was a heading for another explanation. It was that you may experience an extraordinary experience. That would be understood by me as an advantage. In that case, if you experience the extraordinary experience, you let it be there. You don't look at the clock, even if you think 10 minutes is gone. But as soon as the extraordinary experience becomes uninteresting or it disappears, you look at the clock, you count up the remaining time for the remaining people. Okay.
Then
In
after
fact,
Mhm.
in fact, the number one task for you now, the number one task, the most important task in this practice is to remove everything and anything that is special about these five people. You gradually learn to understand that all of the five are exactly the same in meditation practice, not outside. Of course, they are not the same. They wear different clothes, they have different history, and so on and on. But in meditation, you try to gradually remove this perception of difference and you try to understand that they are exactly the same. If you can understand that all living beings in this world are the same, then there's no way how you can have anger to anyone. And also, there's the ability to radiate the utmost and most powerful loving kindness to all of the beings without any difference. So that's what we want to achieve by this particular practice. We want to achieve the ultimate, true, thorough loving kindness. So we remove all of those differences. There are five things the same for all living beings. Number one, all must die. Number two, all must eat. Even the gods and Brahmas must eat. They have mental food, but they do eat. Number three, all beings want to be happy. Number four, all beings have body and mind, which are impermanent, unsatisfactory, not self. Number five, all beings have to suffer and enjoy consequences of their actions. Five things, the same for all beings. So here we are considering the number four, that they have bodies and minds that are impermanent, unsatisfactory, not self. That's the sameness here in those five people who you radiate loving kindness to. Tara, is it clear?
Yeah, I was taking notes. Thanks.
Emma?
In situation when already my body is not pain, am I still supposed to keep repeating, may they be at peace, may they be at peace?
Yes, so these are special problems. If you have their pain, then that means you do not have your peace. And if you don't have peace, you cannot share it. At the moment you lose your peace and you see that it really disturbs you in your practice, you need to go back to your muscles. For example, so let's say you meditate 30 minutes. Now, each portion has 5 minutes. So first you have body. Let's say you do it in 3 minutes. You consider peace, and then you move on, just an example, to your mom. May my mom be in peace. You do those 5 minutes, so pretty good. Now you do now 10 minutes of meditation is gone. You move on to your sister. May sister be in peace. May sister be in peace. And now you start to feel pain. And the pain is excruciating. It's horrible. What can I do about this? This is so bad. Okay, so you go to your top of the head. Of course, you arrange your body. You may apply some of the advice that I told you. It's okay. Not during meditation. We do not, however, raise the hands. No way. That cannot be.
Okay.
You can do that only before you, right at the start of meditation, but not during. So as you come to your sister, you have this pain. You move to the muscles, and you do this muscle. You do that one cycle of the muscles until the tips of the toes. If you feel peace at the tips of the toes, you return back to your sister. If you don't, you do another cycle of muscles. So you actually don't go through the peace point, through the separate peace point. You actually go from the tips of the toes directly to the person. because you already dedicated some time to peace in the beginning, and in 30 minutes you don't really have much time. It will be quite stressful in the beginning. You have 4 days for this practice, so there is a lot of opportunity to some development. You'll be doing exactly this for 4 days.
Okay.
If there may be cases when you experience something special or something I like very much, when you report it to me, I will update your practice, but more or less these 4 days, this is the instruction that you will be doing.
Okay.
So experiment with that. Do not worry about it at all. Even if you have like pain all of the 60 minutes, you don't get to meditate to any of the persons, it actually counts fully as your meditation practice.
Okay.
All right. Any more question? Anything you'd like to say? Yes, Tara.
One last question. Do you have these instructions written either in English or in Burmese? If you have, do you think you can share?
I cannot share it because then people will be considering the text and not what I say.
Okay.
But this meeting is recorded and it's available in Facebook. So I would like to ask Ma Suyadana Myai to share the link to this meeting, and you can watch it again.
Okay. Yeah, she has been sharing on YouTube.
Or it is shared.
Thank you.
We have it written, but the access to this is I like to give only to our assistant teachers, because they then provide further instruction from there.
And then I
We don't
just
even
wanted
have
to-
like handouts. I was like offered that a student will like make handout. No, I want the people to write their own notes and pay attention.
Okay. And then I just wanted to reconfirm. So earlier you mentioned that if I have questions, I can ask Miss Sue, right?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay.
Anytime.
I might reach out to her if I have
Yes,
questions.
yes, please.
Thank you.
Yes, Ma Suyadana Myai is our assistant teacher. She has already followed our 10-day retreat and 30-day retreat. She has been present in many of my Dhamma talks. So I'm very confident that she can help you. She has the full access also to the document, where we have not only the instruction, but also various questions with their answers. All is written by me, or with some improvements, some small improvements from my assistant teachers. Again, of course, always revised by me. So you can be rest assured that you'll get the best support. Otherwise, Ma Suyadana Myai or you actually can also contact me by Viber. But I would be happier if you contact Ma Suyadana Myai, because I think even in Viber, she will answer faster than me.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you all very much. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be successful in everything you do.
Thank you very